Hey folks, we're going to jump right into it here. As always, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications because this is timely, and especially when we get into markets like this, you're really going to want to pay attention to what's truly going on out there. So I just want to start on the cues so we can understand something. You have these top channels right here. You have a reversal bar here where we came down and we touched the support level, right? And we also touched the 8-day. We went to the 5-day today and we didn't break down. We actually stopped on it. And if you look at that, right, if we go to that low, you'll actually see that that low is 333.52. So we didn't even test the low from yesterday on the cues. And you know that's fairly important, but let's drill down into this even more. Here's your support line from the other day, and look how we reversed, and look at the volume, just the puking, right? So then you come in today, and this is where we're at right now. Okay, we're trying to break the high of the day. If we get through this and push, we could challenge that Q line. Now, this is a very uncertain area, and it's interesting because in Twitter, I made a couple comments, and I told people to be careful and less is more right now, and I didn't get any responses, which I got a couple, but it usually lets me know that people aren't paying attention to certain levels. So right now, we're sitting right on the other side of this. So this is a pretty key level, and we have to make sure that we hold here. If we don't hold here, and we're going to come back down to the low end of the channel, that's a possibility. So that's why you see a lot of stocks today acting the way that they are. And I mentioned this in the newsletter, and I mentioned it on Twitter as well. Your percentage of being right in this spot is going to decrease dramatically. And what you're going to see is and I was asked about this, you're going to see the larger institutions, they're going to come in and they're going to buy, but they're going to buy liquidity. They're going to want to be involved, but they're going to want to be in liquidity. They cannot get in and out of a TLRY. They just can't. They'll crush it one way or another. They won't make any money. Large funds need to be in large cap stocks, and that's where the money is, and that's where I tend to play because that's where I make the majority of my money, just by understanding them. So if you saw this the other day, we started talking about this at the 575 break. This is a 6-month base on NVIDIA, okay? And this is why it's important to understand where institutions are putting their money. If you think this is going to stop today because the NASDAQ's doing this or that, it's not. If anything, it's going to accelerate this, and it's going to accelerate the move that's happening in larger cap stocks. Like, look at what's going on here with the SOXL, and I'll put this in the chart. And I will get into your requests, but I just want to point this out. So look what's going on here, right? I mean, we're setting up for an all-time high close. We're at the high of the day. Look at where NVIDIA is right now. And so what I would tell you to do is start thinking like that a little bit. So you can see that this is set up. And the count on this is almost, for where this could go based upon this base and these channels, the count on this is almost a double. I mean, this move reminds me of the kind of move you saw when Tesla broke out at 1,000. So this could really go, and it's definitely something to keep on your radar. And then finally, and we'll get into the requests, but here's Zoom. I mean, this was fairly textbook, and I stated today that you need to look at this when we break this level, and here we are, 442. As soon as we flipped that level, all that buying came in. So, if something's going to push today, I really think it's going to be these larger cap names right now, or anything that's already come out with earnings. I would think that you're going to see movement there. So, just going through the rest of this, let's just run through the ideas and the names. So, this is, hold on, remove this text. I had the wrong thing in there because I was moving so fast the other day. Someone caught it, thankfully. So here's ACB. Okay, this is a daily chart. Let's look at this on a weekly. I know the week's not done, but let's understand what happened here. We rallied above this, and we're closing below it. Okay, does this mean that the move's over? No, but if you're buying stocks and you're not raising your stop from when you're in, there's not really much more you can do except expect that you're going to get whacked, just like people got whacked in TLRY today. So you need to have these levels and you need to understand them. Today, running through this, coming back down through it, I mean, there was no reason to be in this, in my opinion, if you were pre-market and you saw it break this, right? You could have tried to play something off a bounce today because it gave a couple signals that it might bounce, right? You have this, and then you have this reversal here. But that didn't really work, did it? So you would have gotten stopped out at the bottom here or right around here where your break even was. But these are not giving you clear indications that there are any change of turning. I mean, if anything, it's very clear looking at how nasty these bars are that that you're looking at the bears being in charge of this move. And you've seen what happened last time we had one of these. It just trended all back down. Does that mean that the investment is over? Yeah, it could be. It could be. You need to hold this 1448 level. If you break that, that's going to be nasty. And pardon me, you're seeing that today with TLRY as well. And we might as well do TLRY now and get into it. So, TLRY, we were in at $22, and you can see how nasty this is getting. Now, I don't know where we close. You have 100% range from the open. We were cut in half from the opening price, roughly, right? So what transpired here? Okay, we have a stock that was $10, $18 in January, and we went to 75. Okay, if you think that we're not going to pull back and test, we are. Last night on Twitter, I think I was pretty clear. If you go through them, I gave a short-term indicator on where it could trade back up, but I was pretty clear, like the RSI on this, which is relative strength, was grossly overbought, which could lead to something like this. But, did I expect this magnitude of a move down? No, but we know where key levels are. Here's a key level. And you need to ask yourself these questions. If you break this level, right, which we have designated as our trade, right, which was our second target, was here, and we're in here, and you break this, and you're not out, then I don't understand your strategy, and I think you need to reevaluate it. So if you go through a trend line, and then you break down on the other side of it, and you're still in that trade, I don't understand why, because you can always buy a stock back, but you can't always lock in a profit, and remember that. But so dealing with this here, this is what's going on. Now, there were key levels here where I did try to play it. When we filled this gap, I tried to play it, but that did not work. And let's go take a look at that. Right? You can just see this selling. It's going to exhaust itself eventually. The question is where. It could be this 33, 34 level that we have. Right? It could go back to that target. I mean, it was there 3 days ago. So. And you can see how this 45 is just being respected from this break, right? That's your gap fill. And you can see how we can't even get above it. So right here, this is not something that I need to be, overly involved in or pushing. Now down here to this level, after it was at 75 pre-market, it might get interesting to take a look at. Do I think it's over? No, but I think that the bears are in charge now for sure. And we've made a killing on it. So I just think you need to make sure that when you're playing these games, you have your levels set and you know where they're at. So let's just get into a couple of these. This is one I added today, Blink, and we've broken this support level, and I'm going to give it to the end of the day to see how we close. If I don't close above this 54 level, I'm going to get out of this by the close. And I'm in right here, so I'd lose like about $1, $1.50, I think. So this is one that I'm in, and I added to today. I don't like the action in it right now. It looks awful. The way that I will play this is I will watch the close and make a decision from there. So in regards to BNGO, we broke here, right? And then we reversed, and then we held this wedge line, and now we're trying to reverse and go higher. I don't think you're going to see a lot of action in these lower stocks that have moved until we resolve ourselves on the indexes. So I do like this, and you do have another little wedge on top right here, right? But we have to see how this plays out. This is not something I would jump into right now. You know, I'm not making higher highs. This was almost a double top right here, right? I mean, you can't really call it a double top because here's your double top, right? That actually happened up here where we reversed. So, but you can see how this is a resistance line. So this is not something I would jump into right now. If I get over 1270, 1275, maybe it's something that is worth looking at. So in regards to CVLB, I mean, this has just been a monster mover. You're taking out a lower low. We see how that goes when it happens. What would I do here? You're very overextended on a thin name, but you do have a little support here. And you can see where we opened here, tried to close above it, closed here. So if you, as long as you're above that 28, depending on how your time frame, as long as you're above that 28 level, I think you're okay. I would not add to it here. And then I would also look at this 25, this 8-day moving average, and go from there. But overall, this is not something that I would be jumping into right now. But if I was holding it, they are the key levels that I would be looking at. So here's Dash, and I think we talked about this one the other day. You can see the wedge. You can see the opening is the low, the high is the close. I mean, it doesn't really get more bullish than that. And now we have follow through. The open is the low, and we're towards the high end of the bar. I'm closing at an all-time high. I don't want to get into valuations. I'm just going to talk charts. If I had to give you a quick count on this, on what it would look like, this is very rough. It needs more work. But this thing could easily, you know, closing up here, it would be an all-time high close. This thing could easily move to the 240s. It could easily pop up there. So Fubo's doing pretty much what Blink is doing, where you're just riding this trend line. And I think what you need to do with that trend line is just watch how it plays out. If you close below this trend line on Fubo, you need to get out. I mean, it's telling you that we're going to go the lower end of this channel and we're going to test this 21. And I also have the 5 and the 8-day crossing. I mean, that's not the best look right now. And someone mentioned this the other day, and this triggered today. So, and I like this, but here you are. So you can see, look at this, right? So you actually are triggering today and breaking your little downward trend. What you would want to watch, if you're not in this already, at this point, you might as well just wait for that 49.25 level to break. And I really like this trade. I'm consolidating, I rise up, I'm consolidating before I go higher. We get back into this trend, this thing can go to $60 fairly easy. Let's see, open. This was one we added into the newsletter, and so far it's doing pretty well. You know, we got in at 32.75 was the price, 30 was the stop. You know, I would note this. So Zillow came out last night, had great earnings, same space. Look, here's your trend, okay? And I don't really like the way that's drawn. Hold on. So there we go. Okay, so so you can see how we rallied above this and not unable to get above this. So if I'm in this and I'm concerned, then I need to get out, right? I need to no longer be in this because I can't close above this channel and I'm having trouble with it. And that also is because of the spot we are in the index. So if you're that concerned, you know, if this trades up or down, or use the low of the day to get out of it and just lock in a little bit of profit, I'm just going to hold it. You know, I've got a good price on it. We have good earnings. You know, worst case scenario, this stop will probably be moved up to close below this 32, 39 line. So there's very little. I'll just move the stop up probably in the newsletter today. In regards to plug, I mean, here's minor support. And minor support, we broke. Minor support has become resistance. And now we have the 5, the 8, and the 21 all pointing down. So you need to let this resolve and definitely do not be adding to this unless you get above the 66 level. I mean, Roku, it fits exactly. I was asked about this today. We're not in this now. This is from before where we had a 71-point gain. We bought it here. So this is just setting up. I mean, this just looks beautiful. And this falls right into exactly what we were talking about before, right? Where we were talking about these stocks continuing to move higher, these larger cap stocks, which now Roku is a larger cap stock. And this is where you're going to see the money go, into these more liquid names. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm sure you guys have questions, and if you do, just simply message me here or message me on Twitter. And let's just keep rocking and rolling. Thanks, guys.